India's MSMEs are not a side story. They are the backbone of the economy. They contribute 30.1% of GDP, 45% of exports, and employ 24.4 crore people through the Udyam system, making them the second largest employer after agriculture. You'd expect a sector this important to be well supported and growing, but the reality is that there is a rupees 80 lakh crore formal credit gap that is holding these firms back. I'm Pranav Bijwe, and today I want to argue that India's real economic problem is not a lack of entrepreneurs, it is a lack of firms that can actually scale. There are four distinct problems compounding each other. First, the financing gap. Niti Aayog reported that only 19% of MSME credit demand was met formally by FY21, leaving rupees 80 lakh crore demand unmet. Banks need collateral, and MSMEs are often informal, thin file borrowers, so credit is either rationed out or priced beyond reach. Second, delayed payments are a working capital crisis. By December 2024, over 2.16 lakh applications worth nearly rupees 48,000 crore had been filed on the MSME Samadhan portal. For a large company, a 90-day receivable is a nuisance. For a small firm, it can be fatal. It blocks wages, supplier payments, and the ability to take on new orders. Third, the sector structure is skewed. 97% of registered MSMEs are micro enterprises. Only 0.3% are medium. And fourth, there is a competitiveness deficit. Niti Aayog flags persistent skill shortages, underinvestment in R&D, and weak technology adoption. Let's look at the structural problem. This slide captures the paradox at the heart of India's MSME challenge. Look at the enterprise pyramid on the left. The base, micro firms, is enormous, 5.62 crore enterprises. But the tip, the medium firms, is a tiny sliver of just 0.3% of all registered MSMEs, roughly 1.73 lakh firms. Now look at the right. That tiny 0.3% generates nearly 40% of all MSME exports. This is the missing middle problem. India has enormous breadth at the bottom, but almost no depth in the middle. The real policy challenge is not firm creation. India is very good at that. It is firm graduation, helping a micro firm become small and a small firm become medium. Without that graduation, India gets enterprise quantity without the enterprise quality. Now let's take a look at the policy history. India has not ignored this problem. There has been a clean arc of reform over 2 decades. It begins with the MSMED Act in 2006, which created the legal framework for MSME development and the delayed payment dispute mechanism. In 2015, public procurement norms were made mandatory, with a 25% target for MSE procurement, including sub-targets for SC/ST and women-owned enterprises. In 2020, the Udyam reform modernized MSME classification by combining investment and turnover criteria, removing manufacturing services distinction, and excluding export turnover from the ceiling to support growth. That same COVID period saw the ECLGS scheme deploy rupees 3.68 lakh crore in liquidity, with rupees 2.42 lakh crore reaching nearly 1 crore MSMEs. And most recently, Budget 2025-26 raised classification thresholds, doubled guarantee cover from rupees 5 crore to 10 crore, and introduced rupees 5 lakh credit cards for Udyam registered micro firms. So the arc goes from legal recognition, market support, pandemic rescue, and then scaling that push. But the gap between reform intent and ground level outcomes still remains large. So, what is the way forward? What India needs now is a shift in policy philosophy from helping MSMEs survive to helping them scale. I'd organize the solutions around 5 pillars. First, data based lending using GST trails, bank histories, and the account aggregator ecosystem, which now covers over 2.2 billion accounts to underwrite credit without traditional collateral. Second, aggressive payment enforcement. Stronger Samadhan resolution combined with wider threads invoice discounting so receivables become immediately financeable. Third, technology and skilling. Cluster based testing infrastructure, R&D support, and sector aligned training programs. Fourth, firm graduation support. The 2025 classification reform is a step, but we need targeted support for firms with the capacity to become medium enterprises. And fifth, digital public infrastructure to unlock formal credit at scale. So, my closing point is simple. India does not merely need more MSMEs. India needs more MSMEs that can scale, formalize, innovate, and compete globally. That is the real economic problem that I want to highlight using this video. Thank you.